August 18th, 2016. We had planned out the trip. All of us. And of course, Madi Boa wanted to be evil. She didn't have a reason to be. There was absolutely no necessity to the cruelty that she gave me. She could have just left me alone. She didn't have to go spreading rumors about things that did not happen. But she did spread rumors about things that did not happen. And people in Boulder, Colorado, the only place where I was ever actually allowed to be who I am, I had to worry about people threatening to kill me, or assaulting me, or threatening to kill my loved ones, or just being outright nuisances because Madi Boa didn't get her way. Now, it should be obvious by now that, yes, I told the truth. It should be obvious by now that the people that I said exist actually exist. It should be obvious by now that many of the people that I turned in, although I was ignored because of the mentally ill tag, these people got big heads and did the exact same things to many more people. And still, even with all the payouts to many other victims, I'm still the one paying out for being victimized first and for speaking out first. Well, Tony Kovaleski says, you heard it here first. Well, maybe they heard it there first. But you weren't the first to report it, not by a long shot. Just like 60 Minutes was not the first ones to report on the missing women of Hardin, Montana. Or on Zaid Atkinson. With Darren O'Connor, man, you guys didn't know who he was until I told you. Nice enough person, but you know how I feel about nice. The screenshot for this video, it's a message between me and Madi Boa. I told you, she was dealing meth. She was supposedly sober and cleaning up. But then she got busted, and her girlfriend threw her away. That would be Mackenzie Chapman, because Mackenzie Chapman had just had a baby. She didn't want that associated with her or her baby. She didn't want none of that in the house or anywhere near her. She was wanting to be a good mama. Anyway, there's a plug-in inside. I'm just having part of a cigarette before going back in. I do make a distinction between someone who is afraid and somebody who's doing bad things. Making a mistake doesn't make you a bad person. It's when you try to hide those mistakes that you become a bad person. When you start telling those little white lies, not thinking about the repercussions for others. You're only saying those things because that's what you were taught to do. That's what you've seen that works. I'm sure by now those of you who have paid attention have noticed that asking nicely just results in me getting blown off. Oh, I'm gonna. When? When? In 3 months? In 5 months? When are you going to? That's what it comes down to with all these folks supposedly reaching out to me to help. They say that and then they just sit there doing nothing. Doing nothing to help, not speaking up, not looking at evidence. Like, hey, why'd you even send me that? Why did you waste my time? Why is it that I have recordings with you where I said something to you at least 10 times in one recording, and you still didn't get it? You still wanted to push what you wanted to push, like a crackhead. Sean, you just need to love yourself. If I didn't love myself, I wouldn't be trying to stop all this. If I didn't love myself, I'd be dead already. I gotta go inside. I gotta plug in my stuff, and I gotta take things off my little clandestine recording device, if I can find it. It's in here somewhere. Download it to my computer. That way I can record stuff again tomorrow. I haven't been able to in a couple of days. Oh, there's my pepper spray. I should take that with. Nobody's gonna mess with me in there, but just in case. Actually, you know what? I don't want to accidentally fuck with it in my pocket, which is why I put it where it's at now. So I'll just leave it there. Madi was an integral part of this situation. She could come forward at any point in time and told the truth. Instead of treating me like I'm a bad person for trying to get help, for asking for help, literally asking for help. When people want to pretend you're stalking somebody and you're not asking where they're at, you're not asking who they're hanging out with. That's something that a lot of people pushed on me. Like, you wouldn't leave her alone, you stalked her everywhere she went. Like, no, dude. Fucking, I went to Virginia because she asked me to, and then she pressured me to under threat of suicide. And there's a lot of women who want to throw this, oh, you're being an emotional this or an emotional that. You're trying to manipulate my emotions. Like, what the fuck are you doing putting on the waterworks, stupid? What are you doing playing stupid? You're more intelligent than that. I've spoken with you. We've had conversations. You guys know I'm pretty well educated. You know I'm intelligent. You know I'm not schizophrenic. Did you speak out, though, when people wanted to use that as an excuse to harm me and deny me the right to turn in my predators? Meanwhile, my paperwork says I got to go in with somebody. All these people telling me to go to places I already go who say they don't do that. That's not their job. I hate losing stuff. Especially when it's something important like that. Well, I'll see if I took it inside. I probably did. Alright. Friggin' Farvignigan and all of that. Oh, there's something useful. My headphones. Those will make it so I can actually listen to stuff without interrupting everybody. Everybody, listen up. There's a lot of people that I reached out to before Natalie was killed. And a lot of them said they were going to help. They just didn't listen to what was going on. They volunteered help, but just didn't follow through. And then, of course, being inhumane as they were, like, you know, after a year of having my life threatened, after over a year of being assaulted and all that other crap that goes along with it, you know, I needed people to stop telling me I just need to love myself. Oh, you know, you just need to get away from those people. Whoa, hold on a second. I drove 1,700 miles away from those people. Now I'm having to deal with people in Boulder. When I come to see you, to visit you, to try to get help, I am putting myself in a dangerous position just to come see you for you to ignore me. Play video games, sell drugs, do drugs, have sex. Anything but pay attention. the only customer here.
Bet you are.
We're gonna drop everything all over. We're gonna, God, come on. My fingers are not made of butter. It's good.
Everywhere. What's up? I have no idea what it is. Spicy, something like that? Yeah. I would ask Mike, but possibly. That's right.
Oh. You better pay up and get your tip before you go on break.
What's that?
I said it better pay up and get your tip before you go on break.
Oh, I won't be out on a break for quite a while.
Oh, good. Well, I guess that gives you quite a while to make fun of you.
That's right. You have plenty of time. I gotta fill every one of these caddies, dude.
I didn't like being a busboy. I went back and washed dishes instead. Learned words like basura and el baño, and I was super proud of myself because I actually retained them too.
But if it's something, I usually a host to serve as assistant. Sometimes a manager as well, so I do four jobs on or one time.
So that's why you're the personable one. Although I've noticed most of the people here actually are personable. Even when I come in here stinking. I even went out to my car and put on some of that underarm deodorant. I used to lay stuff because I'm sensitive. I said that in my nerdy, I need an inhaler voice.
Well, it's funny, because I wouldn't notice my nose is not sensitive. I smoke enough weed and have damaged my nostrils enough that I don't really smell a whole crap load. I can smell, but I mean, not the best.
I got a lot of folks that I know that ended up with COVID, and pretty much all of them tell me their sniffers don't work. I am so cursed. I'm like, I still smell everybody's farts. I'm the only one in the room who can.
The corona's never messed me up. I did drugs a couple of years back. Just shoved a bunch of dumbass shit up my nostrils. Made it tough for me to smell anything.
I got lucky and never got into that, but that's because I got unlucky. Grew up in the system on the government and edge. The street stuff don't touch that.
Well, it's good to have not got sucked into that because it took a lot of years and a lot of money away from me. You know how much money I spent on that blow? I probably spent $200,000 on that stuff.
A lot of my
23
friends
years
went
old.
down that rabbit hole.
I'm only 23 years old. I could have saved myself so much hurt, so much heartache. I could have had a house now. I could have had a
Imagine
whole
all that
property.
hustle.
I
All
could
that
have
hustle you put in.
all that stuff. I could have bought an entire house. I could have had 2 or 3 cars. I could have all of my schooling that I want done. I could have all my business management schooling and all my music production schooling. I could have all of that finished now. And I spent it on drugs and shoved it up my nose.
Yep. For me,
I
I
could
grew
have.
up in the system. I got to see the aftermath for all the kids and aftermath for me of having parents like that. And then hitting the streets like as soon as I turned 18 because I aged out. That was right before they had all those programs that they got for the younger folks so that when you age out, you got everything set up. Well, that didn't kick in until like 4 or 5 years.
You sure are quiet.
I know. I'm trying to. They just sit someplace.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anywhere is you.
Well, if you got some warm coffee, when you get done with a few of those, I'll harass you for a cup. But I'm going to run out and figure out where I put my keys because I need to download something. All right. Oh, come on now. I've got to be smarter than the damn machine. I know I am. There.
I'm just so hungry sometimes.
I don't know who's playing the Christmas music back there, but I do love the bells.
I don't know if I should be here. You know, when I pulled it up, it went like this. Oh, yeah, I kind of grabbed that like that, and then my finger slipped off. No, I'm just so watch out, man. Alright. I'm a rocket pilot.
Ever tell you about the time I made a mistake?
Don't you even go there.
I'll let you know when it happens.
You're going there.
Alright. I hope that is not a voice screen to death. Alright. One word is hard, be humble, be perfect in every way. Each morning look in the mirror, gonna get better looking each day. To know me is to love me, I must be a heck of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. The Grand Duke of York, he had 10,000 men, and he marched them up the hill, and he marched them down again. And when you're up, you're up, and when you're down, you're down, and when you're only halfway up, you're neither up or down. Late last night while I was home in bed, Mrs. Lear took a lantern to the bed and the cow kicked it over. She winked her eye and said there'd be a hot time in the old town tonight. Fire, fire, fire! What other song was that? We were in grade school. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, Mary, Mary, king of the bushes, he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh, Kookaburra, great your life must be. And then there's, of course, that one with, I wish I could remember the name of that movie. Had Charlie Sheen and Martin Sheen and Lawrence Fishburne and Oh, don't you know that's the sound of the men working on the chain gang? Oh, don't you know that's the sound of the men working on the chain gang? Kick back. Now let me hear you say, ooh, 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 ooh. All right. Va te faire foutre. That makes me want to say filthy stuff like dirt, mud, grime. Now let me hear you say, ooh, ooh, Alright, is that them? Nope. Problem with living in a shit pit. This car is full of everything I own. Well, not really. I got stuff in storage too, but I gotta keep in mind that that's on the other end of town. And getting there might be costly. Alright. If I could find my good flashlight, this would be a lot easier. Oh, come on now. Friggin' Farmignugan. Assholes. And this time I'm the asshole. I understand the sanctity of privacy and boundaries. I also set boundaries, although my boundaries are not often followed. People don't follow my boundaries, they walk right through them, right over them, as if I never said a thing. Now there's plenty of nice people. There are lots of nice people in the world. I got no doubts in my mind that many of y'all do know some nice people. I got no doubt in my mind that many of these people that wanted to help me are actually really deep down nice people. They just did some pretty horrendous shit. And I'd like to believe they have some remorse about it. And again, I wanted to believe that maybe Natalie Bollinger would have some remorse. Maybe her sister Alicia would have some remorse. But they didn't. They didn't care who died. They just cared that they didn't have to take the blame. They didn't have to take any responsibility for any of the things that they did to myself or her. That's what they cared about all the way down the line, that none of them got in trouble. That is what mattered. That the females in the situation did not have to take any responsibility for their choices or decisions or the things that they said or did in order to try to hide things that they said or did that were incorrect. Just because you get embarrassed, just because you didn't get what you want, doesn't make it okay to destroy somebody's life. It doesn't make it okay to slander their name. Then again, you get to see how angry people get when I show the truth. What is people's motivations for doing the crappy things that they've done to me? Well, mostly it's I told the truth. Funny how that happened, didn't it? I tell true stories, true people, actual names. I still haven't met anyone named Men yet. When I do, I'll let you know. I'll get you his information, so all the stuff that you're blaming all of us for, you can take it out on him, because apparently it's all his fault. Until you locate that magic unicorn of a man, the rest of us are kind of stuck here with your bullshit. You help who? You care about who, conceptually? Look what I just found. Woohoo! Alrighty. Apparently I swam to the bottom of this near bottomless pit. Oh. Alright, so one point I want to make. There's a lot of people I love and care about. And in this situation, I didn't get to just think about anybody in specific. I didn't get to just worry about Candace Bondurant and her kids. I didn't get to just worry about Carl Rogers and her kids. I didn't just have to worry about Aaron Cockerham or Danica Garner or Rose M. Kelly or Rochelle Shelley Campbell. I also had to worry about their kids. I didn't have the luxury of being selfish like you and then playing like somebody else was the selfish one. You said, what about my kids? Well, I told you the risks before you got involved. You said you could handle it. I also let you know that you weren't the only one who was being threatened. I also let you know that working together with the other people who are going through this to show that it's happening is what needs to happen. But instead, you just let it happen. See, that's the part where those of you, my friends, are the ones who pushed me over the edge. If I was a woman and I came to you with actual evidence and asked you to go in and help me to turn it in for my safety, how many of you would have volunteered immediately? Now, I know what you guys are going to try saying. I also know the reality with each and every one of you. And that all comes down to your personality type for the most part. I'd say for the most part, because you know what? There's some real shady motherfuckers I've met in my lifetime that weren't so shady. Shady Dan was good to all of us. It's a goddamn shame what the Boulder Police Department, Boulder County Dispatch did to that poor man. They got a call hours and hours before I found his body. Tony DeStassi is on my channel in a recorded conversation between him and I, where Tony DeStassi is, instead of trying to be understanding and help, he's trying to tell me I need to leave the country. Him and his family are planning on leaving the country and trying to leave the country. King of Nichols was afraid of being deported back to Hungary. Those two are co-workers. They both spoke about Danny, and so did Anna Alford. They did speak on my channel. They did speak about the situation with Danny. What these folks don't understand is that their voice does make a difference. Their voice is mighty, but only if they use it. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. Now, that's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but it's not a direct quote necessarily, although it is said that he did say that in private conversations. The actual direct quote from one of his speeches is a bit different. But the point is that it means the same thing, just not in so many words. People screw up. They're gonna screw up. It's just gonna happen, alright? Your kids are gonna do something messed up. They're gonna get somebody knocked up underage, or they're gonna get into an accident being stupid, or they're gonna get addicted to drugs to try to impress a girl. You just never know. And before you ask how that works, I want you to stop and put yourself in your own shoes. All right, all of you parents, I want you to put yourself in your own shoes on that. How did you get pregnant? I know the stuff that you tell your kids about being conceived in love and all that, but, I'm not asking you to admit it publicly. I want you to admit it to yourselves. How did you get pregnant? I'm not asking you to admit it to your kids. I don't want you screwing them up, giving them a complex. You still love them despite the fact that you ended up pregnant from being irresponsible, not from being responsible. How many of your kids, especially a lot of the parents that I know now that are ultra Christian, like I know one lady, when she was in high school, I'm not going to tell you the body parts on her that I saw stuffed with other people's body parts. All right, just so you know though, she maintains to this day that she's never drank a day in her life, and she's never tried drugs ever. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. See, that's what happens when you have kids. Your sins are magically wiped away. You never did those things because you're born again. But then you want to bring up stuff with your husband from when you were in junior high school, and he's born again too. He's born again too, so how can you bring that stuff up if that life didn't exist? And that's the way many of these people try to sell it to themselves. I was there when you tried to sell to your boyfriend that you were faithful, even though your boyfriend was white and you're white and your baby came out darker than both of you. I was even in the house when you were trying to explain to him that, genetically, you've got Native Americans in your ancestry, so it must be something to do with that. I was there with him when he got the DNA test back after y'all broke up, but he didn't get the DNA test while y'all broke up. You convinced him that you loved him and you'd take him back, and that the genetics test was going to show that it was his kid, and then it come back and it wasn't his kid, and he left you again. Told you he'd make sure you got a little bit of money because he feel bad for the kid. And then, of course, you have the DNA test with the second guy, and you're pretty sure it's him because he's Native American. And you're like, all right, it's definitely the Native American guy. And no, it wasn't, was it? No, it wasn't the Native American guy. It was that Puerto Rican guy you slept with once. You only slept with the Puerto Rican guy once and got pregnant. Sometimes that's the way it goes. But meanwhile, there's a lot of people whose lives get really messed up. And, that messes those guys' heads up permanently. Here you are, you're excited, you're going to be a dad, you're going to have a life brought into this world, you're going to have a faithful and loving and honorable family, and You know, you're going to church now and you're in the name of Jesus in it. And holy dear God. Oh my God, that was. And there are so many people I know who do that. Sometimes I start telling about a common scenario, and then I start going off on a tangent about one or two specific people going through it, or one or two specific people I know who are still going through it. Fact is, out here on the streets, you don't have family or friends. You've got people who are nice sometimes. I don't hate most of these folks. I hate what they've done. I hate that they don't understand, but the moment they're in a situation like that, they certainly do. They just don't make the connection. They don't stop to realize, yeah, Sean Schwartz has emotions too. They're, for the most part, used to me being stoic. They're used to me being able to stand there cool under fire. They understand me being patient, far more patient than most other people are capable of being. Look at how many threats against my life there were before I ever threatened anybody's life back. How many times had my life been threatened by Tim Beeson and others before I threatened them back? Well, I didn't threaten them back until August of 2018. That was almost 2 years of abuse. Almost 2 years of having my life threatened by that point. Now, Ted Bollinger, he got it a little bit earlier than that. After that stuff at my grandma's funeral that he was pulling with his daughter Alicia. Meanwhile, they'd both been busted with meth in Colorado and he had an illegal firearm. 3-time felon already, and they let him go again. Him and Alicia both. And what'd they do? They ditched state and they went on a multiple state high-speed chase where Ted Bollinger was threatening to throw children out of the vehicle. This was after both of them been busted in Colorado after Natalie's death on methamphetamine charges. Multiples for both of them. And of course, there's the multiple situations where Alicia Bollinger disappeared. And that was one of them. So I had multiple people getting a hold of me after Natalie was killed. Multiple occasions threatening to kill me because one of Natalie and Alicia's friends or family got a hold of me to say, hey, Alicia's missing, will you help find her? You know goddamn well I will. If Maddie Boa disappeared, I'd try to help find her too. Yes, I want prison for both of them, but not if they tell the truth. That's what it all comes down to. People being held accountable, especially to their word when it's to a disabled person, an at-risk adult, a homeless person. Are we not people too? No, we're not. Even my friends have shown that. Even the ones who type pretty things at me. Sure, they typed the pretty things. Did they mean them? Did they show that? Now, I've made videos on here to try to teach y'all how not to push your friends and family members to commit suicide. And even with those on there, and even with professionals saying those things and showing videos from professionals, you still just can't help yourself. When you are telling yourself that you can't help somebody, and you haven't even heard what they have to say or what they're going through, how do you know if you can help them or not? A lot of people are angry with me because I told the truth about them. But you know what? I had thought that they were good people who would have told the truth themselves. I guess I shouldn't be allowed to think. I'm not always so good at it. Anyway, I don't want to get kicked out of there for abandoning my stuff, so I better go back inside. Oh, I said, Ophelia, get down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home. Oh, all right, so like I said, it's not right. Yeah. Like I say, I'm pregnant. You need a couple of minutes? Yeah.
I guess I'm just like undecided between All American Slam and Slam Burger. I think I'm just gonna do the All American Slam.
Alright, would you like toast or peanut?
Toast and may I get a soda side of
Anything else?
Oh, actually, sorry, a vanilla milk.
I'll make it. Thank you, man. Everything okay? Oh my gosh. I have to take a split back off. Lo bueno que lo conoces más cercano antes de sí, porque si no ibas a atar todos, imagínate tu viejo atrás de otro viejo abrazando la mirada que te da como sí. See you later. Thank you. Well,
I was thinking 10 o'clock. I was thinking the same thing. No, there will be 4 there coming to there. Every time I got more for you guys. Huh? Oh no, it's I don't want to know what it is. I don't want to know either. Oh, you're right there. Oh god. Oh god. That's that one. And the others. Back the burger. Yeah, that's the one. Got it. Ah! Ah! Thank you. All right. My friend. Anything else?
I think it's actually a hot sauce.
Oh, I got you. Oh yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
Have I already paid your tip?
Yep, you're wonderful.
Hello?
Copy, copy. Oh, yeah.
My God, I know a lot of coughs.
What's that?
I said, my God, I know a lot of coughs.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't. A lot of what I do requires talking to people who don't like doing their jobs. And this is a whole bunch of people who didn't want to do their jobs. On bright side, I got the paperwork here. I just got to get someone to help me to go in to turn it in. And her family member. So I'm going to have to go purchase one. I just got to find one that's cheap.
Yeah. Good luck.
Right.
No, that's never mind.
I remember one time I went to, remember Malibu Green Tree? He's got team. In order to drive the.
All your water for the other one.
Don't, I'm going to drive the bumper car thing. These are not bumper cars. They're not bumper cars. Why do they have bumper cars?
Everything's a bumper car if you believe it yourself.
Yeah.
Or if you're not afraid to die.
Right.
Sir, you need to just love yourself, okay? And I don't want to hear that kind of talk. If you have suicidal ideations, I would have to make a telephone call. You'll have to spend 72 hours in the lockup.
I trust myself to do backflips off the mountain.
See, this is why I have a YouTube channel.
Talking about.
Oh my God. If my computer was any slower, it'd be the Virgin Mary.
Now I gotta go double check. What are you doing?
27.
Yeah. They're kind of like not entertaining kind of ways. Yeah, okay. Yeah, dude, I'm here tomorrow for work. Alright, yeah. Sounds good. I got that. So that was the alright, sir. Thursday it is. Yeah.
You stay for as long as you want, my friend.
Thanks, sir. Bondage.
Didn't realize I was only going to go.
I am totally not cutting a rug in your love.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Sorry about the wait. Guys, here for a. Okay, yeah.
Yes, they are. It's mango and 2 Oreos in there, 2 chocolates. One of them are in it. So. Pancakes, the skillet with the mushroom gravy. Yes. Yeah, look, I just want to know. 33.85 out of 40. There's 6.50 in the back. Do you need a receipt? 6.15, man.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, brother. You have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you. $3.69, man.
Man, I'm not sure if I can help that, but you know what? I'll take it out to
I don't know, man. That is damn expensive for one coffee.
Yeah.
Well, that depends. I'm not gonna put one of them refrigerated, so I think it's not too bad.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll bring it straight to you.
Besides that, I figure it like this. If I come in and I get myself stuff as a customer, then I'm not breaking the law, I'm not being rude.
or inconsiderate. And with every single one of these things that you give me, you make me one step closer to washing my laundry and not smelling like someone's dirty grunt.
There you go. That's a great way to look at it. Hey, thanks, man.
I might be the super underwear man. Or maybe not. I may smell like shit, but I've got a plan. I'm a super underwear man. Alright, so maybe this is not the right way to say this, and it's probably rude and inconsiderate to say about my computer, because if it's anything like the people in my life, it will disappear because I'm complaining. My computer's being a fucking cunt. It's pissing me off because there's people's lives at stake. Just like all them folks said they was my friends and looked the other way. They knew and throw it in my face. Man, you ain't tried to find out nothing about me in the last few years. You know what? If I do, I get treated like a damn stalker, so I'd just rather not. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I pay too much attention, I'm creeping. If I don't pay enough attention, I'm a bad friend. Meanwhile, if you pay no attention, well, fuck it, it don't matter. It don't matter who gets killed. These ain't your friends. You didn't know Natalie. You didn't know Anahunka. How many of these people that get on here and talk all this trash, how many of them knew her? How many of them knew Natalie Bollinger? How many of them knew Anahunka? How many of them knew Stephen McMillian? These men are all dead. And women. Rory Jepson is dead as well. Stephen Green, he's dead. I ain't heard from Mark Swanigan in years. He was one of those folks I went to before Natalie died. Just wouldn't stop talking about how I'm lucky I ain't black. I'm lucky I ain't black. I'm lucky I ain't black. If I was black, they'd have shot me already. Then Natalie disappeared. Holy hell. And that guy, he was a whole ball of nostalgia too, man. He always got these stories about growing up in Chicago. You going through some serious shit right now, and he gonna tell you about Chicago. I told him about growing up in the system once. He said, that's brutal, man. One morning, he come up to me half drunk. He was telling me, you know what, you're black, Sean. You're black. I'm like, no, I'm not. I grew up in the system. I got my ass beat for being white. I ain't black. And he's like, no, man, you're black, all right? You an honorary black man. I'm like, no, dude, I ain't fucking playing that. You know what? When I was in Washington State, I got my whole fill of that at Lincoln High School. But hey, you alright for a white guy. Alright, well, thank you. They also called me cowboy, and it was more of an insult than anything else. I was different, and I knew it, and they knew it.
It wasn't just the fact that I was white. I also grew up in the system, so I knew their tricks. By they, I don't mean black kids. I mean inner city kids. I mean kids that grew up on the south side of the tracks. I mean kids that didn't have parents that got the money to have them put in a mental institution. No, these kids, when they get locked up, that's not where they go. They go to special facilities that got magnetic locks on the door. How do you get them doors open? Well, you find out from anger management group which one of the fat kids has the biggest anger management problem, and then you taunt him until he tries to ram through you and you step out of the way at the last minute. Problem solved, you're free. They'll either slam you down to the ground as you try to hop over the fence, or they'll pick you up a couple miles away and bring you right back. But whatever, you know. Meanwhile, that fat kid broke his arm slamming into the arm bar that's on the door, so you're getting in trouble for that. So, you know, to every great idea you think you have, there's consequences for somebody. All those little white lies and little twists and turns you try to make to somehow justify and twist your stupidity into justifiable mayhem, apparently. And that's what this is. That's the only thing I can use to describe this. This is mayhem. Complete and total mayhem. This isn't anarchy. A lot of people use anarchy as a bad thing, like all out war is anarchy. Well, it's a type of anarchy, yes. It's brutal lawlessness, but it's brutal. It's not just lawlessness. But I'd rather have lawlessness than unjust laws that enslave the people and make one group lesser in the society than any others. Our society has become the society that the Romans created before their downfall, a society full of decadence, material things. That ain't none too bright, folks. We talk about the morality, don't we? Panda 3000 typed, was that a lighter? Do you smoke? Yes, I do. Yes, I smoke. Yes, that was a lighter. Why? Are you gonna try to complain and pretend I'm a bad person for the lighter? Or are you just wondering out of curiosity? There's a lot of bad things going on right now in our world. And we got a lot of idiots in power doing stupid stuff again. Wanting to threaten the whole world with nuclear war, and of course we want to put all that on the Russians, don't we? We certainly do. We want to blame the Russians for everything. You know, Diane Sawyer did a special about the overdrugging of children in the system, and you know, I've referenced that quite a lot. Try to get people to actually listen, to actually pay attention, to realize that these are not isolated cases, isolated instances, and they're certainly not delusions. Many of the people out here on the streets that are complete and total crackpots, according to you guys, you know what it took to get them that way? You know how many years of abuse and head trauma? They get abused until they want their life to end, but instead of helping them stop the abuse, you lock them up and abuse them for wanting their life to end. But who cares? You make a profit. Sheriff's department makes a profit. Hospital makes a profit. Everybody makes a profit but you. You got a bill. You got to pay that bill. And it does affect your credit. And we got a lot of folks out here living in their vehicles. A whole lot of them. And it's horrible. It's horrible that there are so many of them. It's horrible that so many lives are lost due to incompetence. I got a whole table in there, and it's all full of police officers, phone numbers, and all of that. And of course, that's all evidence of the abuse and the crap that I've been going through. As a matter of saving lives, you really got to get off your butt to do it. You know, talking about it conceptually, or, you know, type into the peanut gallery that it's wrong, telling the victim that you're sorry and it's horrible, all the things that they're going through, but you never speak up to the public. You don't speak up on your Facebook the way you do when it's Johnny Depp or Jason Momoa. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong. Alright, I got my computer finally working. It's not the blue screen of death. So I suppose I had to start going through these. I'm actually gonna start a new video to do this. Hopefully my computer is actually gonna work. It may not. See Kim and her son. That was in Hood River. That's in Hood River. Thank you, sir.
Fresh as it gets.
Oh, this is a good one. This one right here is the guy that wanted to use an engine design of mine to kill people. I was not okay with that. Let's see. His faces. Come on now. Please work. Alright.
Doing pretty good so far. Got a few things to clean up here and get
So I guess
myself
we'll
caught
go
up to where
through
I
this
should
in a
be.
little bit. It's being slow.
I'll be there.
And I gotta pee. You know how we end these videos? Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble and don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.